My hate and love for German and Italian cars. I don't believe I'm doing this. I think most of you know that I've gone through maybe 43 cars in my life. I grew up in a rural town just north of Hollywood. During the summers it was fun because there were so many TV shows like Knight Rider and Dukes of Hazzard were filmed right in our town. So I can skateboard over there, look at the cars and all that kind of stuff. Most of my friends were into muscle cars or pickup trucks. I was cool with the muscle cars, but the guys that had pickup trucks, all of their girls were ugly and plump. Jokes aside mostly. For me, I wanted foreign cars like Datsun Zs. They weren't as fast as the muscle cars, but they were better on canyon roads, and I liked that. They didn't leak like most American cars, and foreign cars were more sleek, in my opinion. That story is coming up right after the break. Did you know that the average driver gets 9 traffic tickets in their lifetime? Look, I'll be the first to admit that I've taken maybe a couple of liberties with traffic laws back in the day. And of course, when I got caught, I had to go to court to fight the ticket, which was always a hassle. And each time that I lost my case, it meant big fines, points on my record, and higher insurance premiums. Eventually, I realized that nothing beats having a good attorney argue your case in court. So here's what you do. You download the Off the Record app to your phone and register for an account. And if you get a ticket, simply upload a photo of your ticket into the app and you will be quickly matched with a lawyer in your jurisdiction. Your lawyer will start working your case right away, and in most cases, you'll never have to set foot in a courtroom. Off the Record has a 97% success rate and a 4.9 star rating on Google. And guess what? They even offer a money-back guarantee if they aren't able to reduce the points or keep that ticket fully off your record. Best of all, I've arranged a 10% discount for all of my YouTube viewers, so download the app and register using the referral code FASTLIFE to receive 10% off your first case. My first new car was a 1998 Nissan Pulsar, followed by a 1993 Mustang GT with a 347 stroker V8 with 4-tech cog drive blower. That was fun. After I sold that car, I bought my first Supra. Supra was the car from Fast and Furious. When I sold that car, I purchased an R34 GTR. By luck, that car wound up in Too Fast, Too Furious. But right after the movie was done, I sold that car and I decided to buy my first exotic. It was a 1998 Lamborghini Diablo SV, blue. And it was fun for a couple of months. In my mind, the Lamborghini was the best brand in the world. The car had about 7,000 miles on the clock. It still smelled new. I couldn't wait to get behind the wheel. By coincidence, right behind my house was the new toll road that just opened up. It was like a mile from my house. And on the first Sunday, I went in the garage, started it up. I rolled onto the fresh pavement. It smelled nice. And I started rolling on. At that day, I hit 170 miles per hour. That was the fastest I had go at that time. Then I decided to go to Willow Springs to see how this car goes around the track. The brakes were smoking after 5 laps. Well, that's my fault because I was on street pads. After 2 20-minute cool downs, I got back on the track again. The engine temperature was starting to climb and quickly higher. So I pulled it off. If I'm going to do this again, I'm going to have to do changes, right? Brake pads. But it was fun to do. But a lot of things about these cars that they don't tell you. When you're sitting in the Diablo, car is shaped like this. So your feet are going this way. See how I'm sitting here right now? I'm straight, right? But if it was in a Lamborghini, you have to sit like this. And it's weird when you're going around corners. And the thing is like an aquarium because the windows go like this on the front on both sides. They're slanted so all the sun comes in. After about 2 months, I was bored. Then one day I pulled up to a red light, and when I released the brake pedal, the car didn't move. Holy shit, what was going on? Checked the e-brake, nothing stuck in gear. Nope, not that. So I had to get out of the car and call a tow truck. Apparently, something popped in the brakes, the booster. I think it was a piston. and then it was stuck. So they took it to the mechanic, and that was about $5,000. Yeah, thank you for that. That was a big disappointment, but things happen. About 3 days later, the dash lights started freaking out. Everything's going off here, what's going on? I never found out what that was. It was like my Fiat in 1979. Everything was going bad. After it was repaired, I rarely drove this car so as not to rack up the miles. So now I needed a daily driver. Oh, another car, Jesus Christ, there's already 3 in the driveway. So I bought a BMW E46 M3. Within a year, my M3 was in the shop twice because of the SMG transmission. So I turned it into a show car. I had to buy another daily driver. This time it was a Lexus IS 300. After 2.5 years with my M3, I was pretty sure that my German car hated me because I had a Jewish last name.
Yes, he definitely said that.
For some stupid idea, I decided to try a newer Lamborghini. This one was a 2001. I took it to Cars Coffee. I went to Vegas on that thing. I went to San Francisco. I went to Pebble Beach. By that time, I missed my Supra so bad, I bought another Supra. It was a 98 making 900 horsepower with a TRD kit. Now divorced, I bought my girlfriend a 2006 CLK 55 AMG. That thing had electric gremlins almost from first day. The alarm would go off almost every night, despite the fact that car was sitting in the garage and 2 cars behind it. So what? And that car was like $70,000. And after a few more months, girlfriend went back to her mom's house and I traded that car for an SL600. If you don't know what a Mercedes SL600 is, it is a V12 twin turbo making 550 horsepower. It was kind of cool, but when you get in that car, you feel older. As the other one, the SL was in the shop more than it was in my garage. The windows would go up and down for no reason. So I had it in the shop, I think about 4 or 5 times. I don't know how many water pumps we killed with the intercoolers. The car was in the shop for 140 days in 1 year. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. The car payment was like $2,200. So I said to myself, this car is too old for me and I'm not cool enough for me. So I sold that to another guy, he loved it. And that year we went to the Bull Run and I borrowed Audi RS4 from Audi North America. And I got in that car and then I fell in love with it. I was driving cross country, right, 170 miles an hour, right? And then I called the girl who loaned him the car to me, and I said, I want to buy this. In 5 more months, I got mine. It was blue. It was fabulous. It was a great car. Honestly, the car was marvelous for 4 years until the car seemed to just slow down. So I go to the shop, and they're looking at everything. I pulled all the spark plugs. It's got oil and all the carbon and all that kind of stuff. And I put a scope in down there, and it was filled with carbon. The way to fix it is you have to take everything off the top. They got to take the heads out, all that kind of stuff. And that car only had like 32,000 miles, but I could tell the difference. And that was $4,000 to do that. When I picked it up, I could really see the difference. I said, okay, a few more track days and then I'm going to sell it. So I did that. At that time, I was working with a company with mortgages, so I needed a bigger car, so I bought a BMW 750. It was big, comfortable, but worse than all the other ones combined. Why? One day I would go to my door, hold the handle, and it came out on my hand. Switch, it doesn't open the door, so I'd have to climb over the center console or go through the window like Bowen Duke. The trunk would come up like for nothing, because it just pops up. If you go around the corner too fast, that back door might open. It's happened to a friend of mine. And the transmission was about to go out. That car was $110,000. And if you look around some of these cars with these BMWs, they put the starter motor under their intake manifold. Other companies do the same thing. I think there's a Lexus, I think a Toyota truck. Just stupid. A month ago, my wife's 2017 Audi S3 started overheating. There was no leaks, no smell, nothing. So I'm driving on the freeway, 63 Fahrenheit, and I was driving about 70 miles per hour. And it was getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And so I pulled over and I went slower and slower and slower and slower. I just got it to the Audi dealer and he came out, popped the hood, And I showed him there's no leaks, put my fingers around all the rubbers, looked under it on the floor, and the service advisor said, well, you have to burp it.
What? What the?
What the? What are you talking about, bro? It's got to be burped. I know what it means to get the air out, but you can see in it, coolant tank is full, right? There's nothing dripping, so where is that coolant going? So I got really pissy with the guy. I said, this is my wife's car, okay? I drive this car only with her, right? But if she's driving it alone, and she does that a lot, especially from here to Los Angeles, I can't let her drive that car, because if it did what it did to me, she would be on the side of the freeway at 9 o'clock when it was just about ready to rain. So we traded it in, and they said, what do you want to buy? And we went to go across the street, and she bought a Lexus RC 350, and she's driving it. So in my experiences over 26 years, every German or Italian car that I bought turned out to be poorly engineered and poorly built. But we got to remember, all those cars that I'm talking about, they were good performers. When you get them, you have about a year of fun, right? And never, never, never hold a German car or an Italian car past the warranty. Sell it the next day. Now the same thing goes with the Ferraris and the McLarens and all the gun. How many times when those cars go on fire? It's because these douches go to small dick. Here's ridiculous. That's why those cars blow up. Right now, I still love my R35 GTR. I've had it now 10 years and 3 months. Has he have any problem? Well, I had a problem with the transmission 2.5 years ago, but that was my fault. And now I'm getting ready to up the power. But if you're going to do that, you have to have a strong transmission. So I found a used one that was just built. We're going to take that off, and it should be here in 2 weeks. But a lot of these kids are smart. You know, you're driving these Hondas and little Toyotas, all that kind of stuff, and little Nissans, you know. My advice is drive those into the ground. What car would you buy if you have money? I would think a Pagani, or if not that, maybe a Spiker, a C8 Aileron. Always loved that car. And after that, I don't know. But if I buy another car, my wife's gonna cut my jingle bells off. All right, one more thing. Hey Craig, why we haven't seen any commercials for the next movie? Why is Vin Diesel is not on Instagram showing filming? You know why? So it can only be a couple of things. They're changing something in the script, or they're not happy with the script, or maybe they have problems with funding, or maybe they don't have $340 million like the last one. I think they're going about street racing again. I don't know how they're going to do that for 2 hours. Well, if you're watching two Hondas, that takes 2 hours to get down the track. And if you bring in an Altima, it'll crash in 15 feet. And if it's Dodge anything, it's going to go right into the K-rail, and then he's going to take the plates off of it and then set it on fire and run away. I don't think you can make a movie like that. All right, next week is going to be finally Hector's car and some cars that were in the background came to light this week. I'll be in Canada for a few days, seeing friends, and hopefully the Grand Prix. People are asking about the fan helm R34. We have about 39 or 38 spots still. We'll go till December 1st. If it's not all sold out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give everybody this money back, and I'm going to put it on eBay, and I'll sell it for $2,500 flat. That's where it's going. Remember, it's $51.50. To buy the car from Fan Helm, it's going to be $2,000 and change. But this is the prototype, the first one, the very, very first one. It'll be signed by me, and I have a Patreon channel now. What it's supposed to do is, like, if you want to call me a month for half an hour, if you want us to make questions or have some laughs or whatever it is, and we're going to do that. But if you want to do it for free, go to Cars and Coffee on Saturdays. I'm getting better every time. All right, people, thanks for watching. Please, seriously, sub. It doesn't cost you a nickel, okay? Thanks, everybody. We'll see you later.